Let me look at y'all. Like, no, Sharon, we want to look at you. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's just the message to make sure the people, is it on? To make sure the people get the message. You're like all in my face. Like, I'm just messing with you. Y'all gonna have to get used to my energy. My energy is very, very interesting. But you had a question. What was your question?
Well, I think the conversation we have is generally here about why it is process, right? So this family, well, not family,
Clan, you can say clan, you can say tribe, this group.
This tribe right here, we've been pursuing this for some time now, almost we get ready to be in the 2-year mark. But we found when we came to Nationality counseling sites to be extremely easy to follow.
Yeah.
For the first time the other night, like midnight, I actually just sat down and filled out all the paperwork online according to how you see
Tier 1?
the video. Tier 1.
Because some people go a little overboard and go just try to do all the tiers at once.
Just Tier 1. And I watched the video thoroughly and piece by piece filled in all the information, which was easy.
I wish everybody was like that.
But I kind of knew about the site once a year. And for whatever reason, I kept looking at Tier 1 and it seemed so overwhelming.
It
The
is.
other night, I kind of, after we were talking about, like, let's just do it. Like, we were taking forever. And I did it. And 3 hours later, because I really got into, like, all these different things that I didn't want to go beyond Tier 1.
Yeah.
My thing is, you finished all the paperwork as well, right? You got your ID. Until you put the 10, I thought it was 11. I feel like
The 11 is the government, the Moroccan government.
All right, so you have to look
That's
at
number 11. You can email that as opposed to mailing it. But if I was the one that processed your paperwork, I already have a copy of it because before I send it out, I make copies of it. And you normally get that through an email with the lawful notice judicial proclamation as well as the templates that we order the identification cards. So you're going to get it before you actually get the documents, and you can use the copies that you get in the email if that's the way, if you send them to my branch of the government, and you can just start running those copies to those 10 locations certified return receipts.
And then once you put the 10 locations on those, you are officially...
Well, understand, you're officially a Moor just because that's your birthright and bloodline.
Right.
But what you're fixing is the record and how you are presented or how you are in the public. So you got to understand there's a public persona of you, like that fictitious entity, and then there is the private birthright you.
Right.
They look the same, but they're strikingly different. One is a corporation, it's a Subsequent Being Trust, and the other one is you, the living being. The problem with our people is they have been operating as that asset, that liability, because it's an asset, it's a corporation. So it's a corporation, all caps. Now, they've been identifying like that. So all of these other nations that are here enjoying our land know who you are. Every last one of them. They know you're Moroccan, they know this is Morocco, and they know it's under occupation by foreigners under the corporate United States of America corporation company. And there's so much information that the Moors need, and I do kind of get agitated and I was agitated prior to even the Moorish American consulate with that restoration, because it started with the restoration of consular courts. That's how we originally started to fix the problem that we have here on our own land, because there's nobody else going to fix it but you. Nobody else cares, and you want to know why they don't care, because they're using you, and they're using your land. Okay, y'all got to give y'all appellations, phone numbers, emails. So, because if I send you, like, there's so much that this government has to offer in regards to getting the people competent. And when I say competent, we think that just because we have jobs, just because we have careers, just because we have licenses as it relates to, some people got a doctorate behind their name, some people have an MS, I have a BS, and I say BS for bullshit. That's really what it is, because it taught you how to live within that system, but at the same time, you're also an agent against yourself. Because everything that you know, and I'm sitting here so focused on you, everything that you know is part of Monopoly. It was funny because we were in the car talking about Monopoly. And we were sitting there, why do our people, when they play Monopoly, why they're so angry? Why when we play any game for that matter, when we play any game, we are always fighting. Right? Prophet Noble Juwali told you why we was fighting, because we hate ourselves. Literally. I mean, we're going to deal with the psychological warfare. We're going to deal with the issues that we have amongst ourselves. We're going to deal with that, because YeSharon's going to force y'all to deal with it, because I'm dealing with mine. Right? And you're not going to be able to defend yourself with what's coming, what's here already, that majority of our people don't get. They don't know what's going on. I used to think, back in about 10 years ago, why don't we know anything going on internationally? We don't know what's really going on. People talk about it, but we really have no concept of international law.
Don't know.
Not at all. We see stuff on CNN, we don't know what they're talking about.
We've been deliberately taken out of that process because of who we are.
But who took us out of the process?
I mean,
We did.
but the fact that we are the biggest consumers, and we also
And we're also the biggest
natural resources,
merchants.
so natural resources.
Because they learned everything they doing from us. You understand? They were the original slaves. We were not slaves. We were home. We are home. A lot of y'all left for Jamaica, for Liberia. Y'all left us, right? We sit here and be like, well, why? We actually, here in so-called America, that's a corporation. America is a corporate term for commerce. It's not us either. So a lot of our people left this landmass when we thought, well, why didn't y'all take us with you, right? Because of subjugation. Because of a lot of the stuff that we are party to. Because the original United States is us. That's the Republic. That's us. That's all us. The infighting that we were dealing with, that we're still dealing with the Bloods and the Crips and all the nonsense that we got going on in the streets, but we want to sit here and act like we care. We want to sit here and act like we care when our people, when the Albions shoot our children. Well, we shoot each other's children every day with the gun violence. My son, a year and a half ago, got shot 3 times. 17. Well, by Asiatics, right? So, what is the problems in our communities? We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff. Like, we're going to deal with the pedophilia in our own communities. We sit here and want to talk about the Vatican and talk about the priests. Well, what about in our own families? And I know I've dealt with it, and I know many of you have dealt with it as well. And I'm talking about both masculine and feminine because I hear stories about women abusing boys. So it's on both sides, and we got to deal with all of that. We have to deal with it because they're going to use that against you, Morris. They're going to use it, right? And right now, today is Sunday. I notice trends because I have a bachelor's of bullshit degree in accounting. So I know how to keep the books balanced, right? You learn how to balance books, but then you learn as the analytical aspect of accounting what's really going on. It gives you a snapshot of numbers never lie. Math is the universal language, right? And it's funny because people think time, to talk about that, people think there's a such thing as time. Not time in the tracking of time is a man-made construct. It's all man-made. So when you realize that we're dealing with something someone decided to make, who was the someone that decided to make it? We did. We are our problem and we are our own solution, right? I was like, so when Moors are contemplating nationality, it's just because it's unfamiliar. And you have resentment, you have fear, your ego, apprehension. There was one more that said ease. Egos, is it attitudes? Egos, attitudes. What's the S? Stubbornness, maybe? And what's the other one? Emotions. We're so stubborn. We got an ego. How we got an ego when we ain't controlling anything? Even though we think we're controlling our households. No, we're not. We are controlling the control in our households, right? Because when we sit here and think about the things that we tell people to do, We the ones told our children to get licenses. We the ones told our children to go out there and do all of the corporate stuff that they're doing. But we didn't teach them how. We didn't teach them how to function in that construct. Every other nation does it. Every other nation has a consulate. Every other nation has a treaty that they use to enforce them. What do they enforce on us? Codes.
Black.
Christian black codes. Exactly. And if you would contrast the Christian black codes to everything that you do today, is exactly the same. A marriage license is permission. A driver's license is permission. A passport is permission. Everything that you do is permission. So how can you sit here and say that you're free? We are the only people on this land not using that commercial system that is in place. We are the commodity in it, the thing in it.
The source.
The source, the energy is in your sweat, labor, and it's in your land and wealth and resources, right? And I know I was in the car, and we were talking, and it was like, well, do I have to eat healthy? It's in your best interest to start that process, right? And you don't have to start with major things. You start with the things that you can handle. Because a lot of the medical issues in our community is because of the food we eat. It ain't what they call it, genetics. It's not a generational curse. It is not a Islam wars. How are you? It's not what do they say? What's the other? Your genes. They try to say, oh, what is it? Is it the genes part that they say as it relates to
Inheritance.
Yeah, they say it's hereditary. That's what I want to say. It's not hereditary. It's based on what you eat. Ooh. It's based on what you eat. It's based on what you consume. We're not supposed to be eating pork. We're not supposed to be eating chicken. We're not supposed to be eating beef. We're not supposed to be eating meat. We're not controlling any of these industries right now. Those industries are being controlled, or we are being controlled by those industries as it relates to food and consumption. I mean, we're going to glass over so many topics today, but at the same time, I just want to kind of give you energy because it seems like I'm the Energizer Bunny and everybody else is sapping my energy, right? People call me and I'm like, you just needed some energy, motivation. We all need motivation. I have people in my life that motivate me in such an awesome way because I had issues too. Like sometimes, like before every event, I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm the same way you are. I have to make myself get here, but once I'm here, I'm happy because I'm amongst people who know and recognize there's an issue and want to fix it. Because if you go out there in the streets, you see our people. Just look, just start really paying attention to our people and how they look based on all the other people outside. Everybody else is happy. Of course they're happy. They're living off of you, literally. There's a photo on social media. It's literally a Monopoly game, which is why I love to bring it up. And it's a table board of Monopoly. And it's Asiatic sons holding it up. And it's Albion old people playing a game. Here we go. Always. Do this. That's why I don't really like putting on, because then everybody start popping up. It's weird. Our people are mentally disturbed, majority of them. And I think we need to start addressing that. And when I say mentally disturbed, I really mean insane. What does insane mean?
Doing the same thing at the same time over and over again, expecting different results.
There we go. We're insane.
I think also the wrong information makes you sick.
But understand, you are ancient. I am ancient. We've been here over and over a time.
Right, exactly.
So we know the truth.
Yeah.
We reject it because of what we see. We reject it because of TV. We reject it because of the schooling system. And it took nothing to get us here.
Yeah, the dictionary called it constitutional psychopathic inferiority.
Constitutional psychopathic inferiority complex.
Yeah, they detach from the roots.
Completely detached.
We don't respect our ancestors, and you psychopathic in that
Absolutely. Who are our ancestors? Because this event should have been outside. The big old mics. You know how the
I
Israelites
recently
do?
visited the Israelites camp. And they were saying, well, according to their belief is, so Jacob had 12 sons, and Esau is a Caucasian man. And
You know what the funny part about that story is?
it's weird to me.
Our people want to go back to the beginning of time and talk about the past that is the past. What you gonna do to that?
Right.
I don't get into, like, I love Moorish science and I love Moorish history.
Right.
But don't get so far caught up in the past that you don't realize it's something you need to be doing today. Right?
Right.
We need to be community outreach. That's why I come out. That's why I'm going everywhere.
So I asked them, what are you doing when it comes to the legal aspect of what we're doing right now? What are your plans?
You got to realize Christians, Muslims, Israelites, 5%ers, Temple Moors, Masons are all part of a secret society to do nothing.
Just run around in circles.
That's all they're doing. They're put in place to keep all the slaves controlled and managed. That's the reality. Because what do churches do? Build churches. That's all they do. And I'm looking at all of these buildings, these church buildings. These are big buildings. They're not little mom and pop shops. And where are they getting the funding?
But when you ever been on Church Avenue? Literally, this Church Avenue has every block. There's a church.
And it's probably a different denomination.
Thus the name Church Avenue.
Right? And it's money. It's all about money. It's any other corporation. It's just labeled as a so-called church. And what does the word church mean? Circle, right? We're having church right now. That's what this is. You done gave that word such a high meaning, but understand, the Romans and the Pope and all them created that fictitious entity to control people. If you control their state of mind, you control them. Religion. What does the real word mean? Realignment to what? The truth or fiction? Ancestry. It's supposed to be ancestry, but the Constitution for the United States of America Republic, Amendment 1 says what? You have the right to religion. That was the biggest thing that Albion was fighting. I want to identify the way I wanted to identify, and I don't want to be persecuted for my belief system. Well, Morocco accepts all so-called ideologies as it relates to your faith. Because that's a personal thing, and you can make a decision whether or not you want to be Christian, whether or not you want to be a Muslim, whether or not you want to be a Jehovah's Witness. You can make that decision, but they don't identify you as the living being. It don't identify your bloodline pedigree. Christians come from a multitude of different nations based on your idea of thought. And it's all dogma. All of it. Meaning it's fake. It's made up. It's something that was established to get you to believe something, to get you outside of yourself. That's why we're sitting here today and nobody knows who they are, where they come from. Have anybody ever tried to do ancestry? Have you ever tried? Anybody ever tried to go back and find out where you come from? Yeah. And how far could you actually get?
I'm pretty. My mother's mother lives here until I'm 1 years old.
Georgia? Now, was you able to source it through?
I sourced it from my experience in my family. Kicking around arrowheads, Cherokee Elementary.
Where's the information supposed to come from now?
From my ancestors.
From your mom, right? You know, the original Bible, if you look at the Bible, what is the Bible? Genealogy. Right. It's only a genealogy book. That's all it is. We don't have the genealogy book, but that's the original one. That's showing you where you kind of come from, right? But our own mothers and mothers' mothers were supposed to hand that stuff down. We didn't really have records where so you could just go online and be like, oh, well, where do I come from? Your mom was supposed to give you that. But our parents lost it. And you know the biggest way we lost it? Through the real estate department. Because your houses and your homes that you grew up in had all that information in it. My mom, the house I grew up in had old encyclopedias. Remember back in the day when you actually had libraries in your homes? But we never read the books. They were there. Trust and believe, they were there. I know I had them. But with the housing market, well, now everybody's got to keep moving. You're getting foreclosed on. You're getting evicted with these fictitious contracts under these so-called security agreements. The reasons why, I don't even know if y'all are aware of it. We do have a moorish2moors.com. It's a new platform for Moors by Moors that I helped establish to get Moors connected. Not only to get them connected, but to have a source for curriculum. Because it does. Where you go? Where you go? Did you go get her? How you doing?
The wind blew in.
Look at the baby.
I saw her down the block.
Remember my dog?
I don't remember the dog, but I remember you.
Okay. Islam.
Islam, peace and love.
Yeah, and I walked down here.
Oh, see, like that's the beautiful thing of having things in communities. You can kind of, this is what the community's supposed to do. We're supposed to host events. We're supposed to communicate. And we're supposed to be out there kicking balls. Our children are supposed to be out running around. Where are everybody's children at? I'm going to tell you. I know where they at. I want you to tell me. Say it out, baby. Your children were abducted? You have to speak about it.
It's taken from us from the hospital first. I gave them identification.
Oh, okay. I found you.
It says the National.
That's where you messed up. Yeah. Like, y'all think that those facilities were built. Say again? You want to hear what he said? He was talking about his daughter got abducted from him when they gave birth at the hospital. And you're saying probably because of what? What was their claim against you? Because actually they don't have the authority, but do they? They might have. Based on how you identify. Based on one, a lot of people don't do working plans, right? That's part of tier 8, I think, on the grid. You got to do working plans, especially if you plan on having them in the hospital. You got to let that plantation, that its whole mission is to not only denationalize you, but to record your asset in your estate under the corporation.
We didn't sign no
We did a certificate of liability. So what they call
The better question not is what you do for them, what did you do for yourself before you had your child? Understand, there are things already in motion in all of our lives when we come to Moorish science. We're already having children in hospitals because who started that? Mom and dad. They started going to the hospital. Understand, a lot of this stuff was voluntary. History try to make it seem like we were coerced in a lot of this stuff. I disagree because there's nothing to validate these presumptions. None of us are hiding everything, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Our fear that's been placed on us through movies and TVs. That TV system got you to think you had your babies in the hospital. You had to go and get a support from the state. You had to go and turn your property over, your gold and your silver. Like, we stepped into a lot of this because we thought these Albions had a benefit. We thought that we were coming up. We got to put ourselves in this stuff, y'all. And we were against ourselves through that era of so-called slavery. And if slavery was so big and so widespread, why we only got 7 pictures? One guy with his back looked up. Y'all know that picture?
Yes.
Everybody knows that picture. We're the rest of the history. If this really happened, the Albions would have a whole museum full of all the stuff they did to us. Because it would make sense to do that. If I was an Albion, I would want you to know I beat your ass. I would want you to know all of that. Because I would want you to stay exactly the way that you are. They didn't do any of that. And they got 10 pictures. Anybody see the guy lynched with the one little girl smiling? That's 2. What are the other ones? Come on. Social engineering got you to believe that you all were slaves. No, a lot of you were slave owners. And the slaves you owned were Albions. They switched it. Because we started participating in the United States of America. Right? We got coup. We really did. But we got to take responsibility. We can't sit here and keep blaming and playing the victim. If we don't want to hear an Albion running down the street falling and crying because everybody's beating her up, but yet she's lying about it, how do we get off doing that? Looking at everybody else as our problem. You better look at the woman and the man in the mirror. Michael Jackson told you to do that. Man in the mirror. Michael Jackson was kind of smart. Because he was born in a society that was, its whole source is to kill you. Whitney Houston, these were icons. They ain't producing nothing like that today. I don't think these women with their fake butts are women who have butts. Go out of the country to get a butt. The 5 different color hair colors. Like, why don't you think you're beautiful? Compare you to any other woman of any other nation. Why don't you know that you're beautiful? You know you're beautiful.
I have a question for you.
You got a lot of questions. Oh my God. What's your sign? Let's get this out the way. What's your sign again?
Scorpio.
Oh, shucks. Y'all supposed to be quiet.
I'm a Scorpio.
I am.
I love the hair. You a Scorpio too? Secretive. Don't want nobody knowing your business. I'm surprised you're talking, but go ahead. Wait a minute, what do y'all feel about astrology? Because you know a lot of people think it's hoodoo hoodoo.
That's a fact. In the Library of Congress.
Absolutely.
In the Library
The
of
whole
Congress.
Bible is talking about astrology.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's allegories.
In the Library of Congress on the floor, they have the whole astrology, Scorpio, Cancer.
A whole freaking what,
Right on the
series?
floor. If it means nothing, people, why would they put that in the library?
And understand what the Library of Congress is. It's a record. It's where you make sure if something does not leave the record. They burnt that a long time ago though. Remember they burnt that back in when the war was going on, Civil War? They burnt the original Library of Congress, which had our stuff in it. Land titles. Right? Because can anybody else own land? Who can own land here in our land? Why?
Because we are the land. And I'm not old. I'm not going for my soul.
Islam, right? We are the land. We are the original inhabitants, right? Everybody else is foreigners. Everybody else came through New York. Which is why you have a melting pot of everything. Islam. Okay.
So the question I have is, okay, so an example, most that he tried to travel to Africa with his more.
Well, you are in so-called Africa, just northwest of Exum,
Right.
which is northwest Africa.
He had a problem with his.
Of course you're going to have a problem. Because people think that as soon as they get nationality, which is private, your nationality is private. Private knowledge, you already told you that. You don't see me trying to go out of the country with a private identification card for your nationality. Why are you trying? Are you in control of anything moorish yet? No. Technically you are, but you don't realize it.
Why is it?
Why does it not accept it? How did you come across the border?
Well, when I was born,
It's a simple through a green card or a passport, right? So you came over under a contractual obligation. That contract is still open, right? It's still valid. And understand, that's on the public side. You have to make them. You have to do them together. You have to. and then you have to let people know when you're traveling. Because their job is to make sure the borders are safe from foreign and domestic terrorism. Themselves, absolutely. But we gave the law. Our ancestors, which we are those individuals who were here dying and trying and warring. We are them.
Right.
We came back, and we're going to keep coming back. The question is, what are we coming back to? Because this is bad. Today is bad. You see it everywhere, but you don't associate or attach yourself to that emotion, right? We don't even want to feel it. We don't even want to see it, right? Every video, every video that I've ever saw, that I've ever wrote, that I've ever produced, I want to show you what everybody else is doing and then what you're doing, or what you ain't doing, or what your children ain't doing. Your children are mad at you. Our children are angry, and they have a right to be, because they are living in a land where they are devalued, murdered, abused internally and externally, and we ain't doing nothing about it. We send them to the same plantations we went to. Why?
Psychopaths.
Huh?
Psychopaths.
Psychopaths.
That whole thing.
Right.
The lion doesn't send the cub to the hyena.
Yeah, right.
For 8 hours.
That's a good point.
To learn how to be king of the jungle.
That's a good point. Who teaches him that?
The lion is
The lion. And guess who's really teaching him that? His mother is teaching him that. Because the lions, the male lions, they sitting there chilling.
Yeah.
They ain't got to cook.
Yeah.
They ain't got to do nothing.
Yeah.
They impregnate all the women. And all the women do all the work. They hunt, they defend, and the only time he got to fight is when?
When another man shows up.
Protect his pride.
His pride and ego.
Good point. Like, yo, I ain't gonna let you mess up my spot. I'm gonna fight for it. I'm gonna defend it. I have to.
Well,
And the better question is, if he gets defeated, what happens to his pride?
it's gone, honey.
And what happens to his babies?
They're gone, honey.
Yeah. So don't you think it's important that the men protect their women? And I posted something, and this ain't even go around. What's going on? Who's the hall monitor? Who's supposed to be managing? I'm talking. I can't do both, right?
No, they finished. Everybody finished.
Oh, this is just not the first page. I thought it was just this one page. Okay, let me look. Let me critique y'all. Y'all need to write so I can read it, though. Y'all doing it on purpose. Y'all don't want me to send y'all. Y'all think I'm a solicitor. Y'all think I'm a send you. I'm gonna start cold calling y'all. Y'all think I'm gonna put it on Interpol's watch terrorist list? Like seriously, y'all really think that? We are. Let me tell you, Asia's got like 20 persons. You have like 20 persons. I'm gonna tell you how. You got a different Facebook name. Your email is different. You might got 4 of those. Right? And everything that you do has like a billion different names. Why? Because you're hiding. I tried to do my ancestry. I tried to do my ancestry, and it was difficult. You want to know why? Because our ancestors was lying. They was calling themselves John Smith and Harry. They was changing their name because it was difficult back. It wasn't difficult back then. All you had to do was, if they asked you your name, you put anything. They couldn't verify nothing. John Doe, right? So it was difficult to do the lineage. Because if you look at Ancestry.com, what are they tracking? All the applications that you've ever put out there. That's the what? Voter registration? They're not going to show you the birth certificate. You got to go to probate court to get a copy of that. And you have to be a descendant. Census. What else is on there? Military record. Certain things that you do, they're tracking. Because we are chattel. We are in their system of resident. What is a resident? It's a thing identified. Right. So when they say, what's your resident? What's your place of residence? You know, now you get triggered like, I domicile near the corporate territory. Like it's always because a contract's not only written, it's expressed. And if they know you don't know what you're talking about because of your language, they know they can take advantage of you, and you don't know the remedy to seek to overcome their claims against your estate. Because at the end of the day, all they want is access to your estate. Right? They give you fake paper, Federal Reserve notes, they give you that. Right? But on the back side, in the back office, they're doing transactions through your estate, y'all. They don't want you to know that you're slaves. They don't want you to know any of this. That's why you're in the school systems that you're in. That's why they fight everything about you, right? So now it's between the bougie Asiatics and then the ghetto Asiatics. And it's really a fight. It's really, really a fight. I've never fit into my community. And let me tell you why that is. Y'all think the fight is between us, the so-called, I guess, studied Moors and the less so studied Moors. I owe you and you owe me. We are together. We are not family, but you know that would have been a good hook to say. But we're clan. You support me, I support you. That's the way it goes. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. We equals, right? Where I went to school, and I was just talking about this. The engineering, how they put us against each other. So we're fighting each other. Okay. I went to school. No. Let me go back. I was in a predominantly Asiatic community where we had communities. It was clean. Wasn't garbage on the floor. Our parents back then, they used to go to, well, they kind of call them speakeasies, but back then they used to call them like cabarets. And they would have, yes, you know, and they would have cabarets where everybody would get together, go to the local bar, bring food. That's when you would bring your own food, bring your own beer, and y'all would just flow down and have fun. It's also the crack era, y'all. That's also the era where our families and our parents were just chilling too much. They was having too much party, right? Substance abuse. While all the children in the community was running around the street like mom and dad down here at the bar, we out. We all was outside hanging around. But the point I'm trying to make is that in that cul-de-sac, because we lived in like a cul-de-sac and there was like a highway in between. The other side of the highway where we also had Asiatics there too. But the point I want to say is through the schooling system, this new program to isolate you from each other so you couldn't have a defense. What did they do? They started busing you to different schools. They started integrating you into these Albion schools, courtesy of, you know, Martin Luther King and all that. I have a dream. Yellow school. Right? So they started busing you to Albion schools, y'all, because of this integration to get you comfortable to go to school with Albions and to want to do it. Because why would we want to go to schools with Albions? Why would we want to do that? Back then, we really didn't like them back then. We sitting here trying to act like we all the same today, kumbaya. That's just more strategy to keep you from focusing on us, from focusing on what it is that we need to be focused on. But the point I'm trying to make is that I went to a school called Harris Elementary. It's a predominantly Albion school, and a bunch of us was bused there, while other ones was going to other schools. And it was to isolate you, to get you outside of yourself. So now you don't got no community. Because when I was young, we had daycare, we had day centers where all the children went there. They didn't have to worry about eating. Right. The families didn't have to worry about daycare and all that stuff. The community was together. It was the best experience I ever had, even though when our parents was over in those speakeasies, we was all getting lessons. Just gonna keep it real. We gotta talk about these stuff. We really gotta talk about that stuff. Because we're mad. We're mad at our moms and our dads. We're mad at grandmom and grandpa. Why are all of our, if they're not in a facility, correctional facility, they're in a detention facility, they're in a mental facility, or they're in an assisted living facility because they're old. All of them are in facilities. That's why they're not in the communities, because they're not home. And that's called the art of war. Let's be real with it. Divide and conquer. Everybody is so on every type of medication. I bet you everybody's going to raise their hand if I say, who's on meds? If you would be honest. That's another thing. You don't know how to be honest. right? I hate pills, let me tell you.
I'm on the meds.
That's medicinal. Yes, that's medicinal. That's the base of any pain reliever is cannabis, right? And ain't nothing wrong with it, right? We needed our spirits, right? Everybody tried to sit here and act like the Albions came over here and bought us spirits. No, the hell they didn't. We was doing our own spirits. The spirits we was doing didn't destroy our brain cells like the poison they do, because they have a high or a low, whichever one you want to kind of put it. Like all we got to do is drink cannabis. Smoke cannabis, and we chilling.
Yeah.
Because it's going to bring out you. It's bringing you out. It ain't bringing out no psychopath. But if you crazy enough to do the same thing you do with your people, with them, well, you gonna get what you get. Because when they do that stuff, they turn into psychopaths. Because that's the root. I'm just gonna tell you. Stop letting TV fool y'all. Hi, Dolly, you sitting there happy? Hi. You're like, what's she talking about? I can't even see your eyeballs. She's like, she talking to me? Yes, I am. Just chilling. I'm chilling.
She's chilling.
Oh, right? Right? It's so funny. It's so funny, right? So what am I saying? Like, and just think about this. We can get happy because what the spirit doing right now? It's moving. It's moving in this room, because let me tell you, when you go back outside, when you go back and start getting into your lives and getting distracted, what are some of the ways that they distract you? Bills. That's the biggest one. Job, right?
Technology.
Oh my God, we're worse with the gossip. Like, let me tell you, the rumors in our communities run so fast. I be like, we went to the salon and they told me that. Salon and a barbershop. They the biggest areas, as well as church. Salons, barbershop, church, because that's where we at. We ain't outside at the park. We don't have any community centers. But we had that. But the point I was trying to make to y'all about schooling, about how they separated us and got us to fight against them, because they needed some of us to be on board. They needed some of us to have common sense. And when I say common sense, I mean to know what's going on. They needed some of us to be the ringleaders. They needed that. So they bused us to different schools, right? Socialized us with Albion. So now when you're in a room full of Asiatics, you're a little uncomfortable because you ain't never been there. My whole entire life I was in schools with Albions. Schools, college, career. And whenever I saw an Asiatic, they were either janitor, housekeeper. Meaning I didn't see them that much, right? So they create that divide in our own people. As well as now with the adoptions, now all these little Albions, with these little Asiatic children, they're creating their defense for when the change does happen, and it's happening now, right? So we're always going to be fighting each other.
Baby, stop! Don't come after me.
Right? Exactly. Right? And it's true. But then what happens with that child that's growing up under that house? They can't relate to their people. They don't even think that they are the same, even though they look exactly the same. And they're weaponized, right? So now, you know the change is flipping in the economy. The world dollar. I don't know if any of y'all heard of what's going on with the Vatican. What did the Vatican say? What did the Vatican say? You might know, Wayne Ryder. Huh? Y'all gotta speak louder.
They're calling all their accounts worldwide.
They're calling all their accounts. What are some of the reasons you think they're doing that?
The contract's over.
Why? Why could that be? How could that be?
We doing our work.
We doing our work as Moors, right? So these Asiatics that's sitting there trying like, I'm gonna wait to see what side to jump on. So they're like hiding behind the bush like, are we winning? Are they winning? Which one am I gonna do? Right? Like they got a choice. No choice. They can't deport you. We can't deport you. We gotta deal with you however you are. And we're gonna do what is the noble thing, because even though they get on our nerves and we be so mad and oh my God, the same questions y'all ask us, they ask. Well, if I become a national, am I gonna lose my child support? Social Security, disability, 401k. No, those are all things that you are entitled to. You just got to understand. All you're learning is how to play the game that you ain't never played.
But you were being played.
But you being played, right? Because you're sitting here working to death. I still have family members, and that's true, family members, because they're not national, who work 80 years old. They can't retire. Why? Because they was living their best life when they're young. Because that mortgage was supposed to be done, what, 30 years, 15 years? It keeps increasing, right? Reverse mortgages now, so you can pay your bills. And then what happens when they pass?
It goes right to them.
It goes to probate court. Why?
Because they gave you money. So that's all the contract.
No, because they don't even leave a will to their children. Let me tell you, the fights in the families now that mom and dad is gone, right? Mom and dad, and I know that mom and dad's gone. They didn't leave no will, and they don't know what to do, how to claim anything, right? Trust, right? That's why trust is in tier 2. The tiers is to get you back in the game of merchant, realizing that everybody, look outside, like on the way here. I saw so many different nationalities in parks living their best life. Because guess what? They ain't got to worry about the policy enforcers. Why? Because they got a consulate. They got treaty relationships that they try to deny you. Right? But who's the reasons why we're being denied? Each and every one of us. Because you got enforce the Constitution, rise of the Moors, Moorish American Consulate, red letter lowercase lettering with misspelled words. Do I gotta go on? Like we prove time and time again our ignorance. How we can't come together and everybody else can? We gotta command it so. As the people, right? Now there's 4 other nation states going to the international community. I'll tell you about it eventually when I'm able to. Trust me, I got your back. I'm here to make sure it gets done. I don't want to be here. I want to be chilling. I've always wanted to be chilling. I'm not a politician. It's not who I am. Somebody's got to say, okay, I'm going to start this. I don't care what happens. Apparently, I got to be the guinea pig. Not really cool with that, but I ain't living like this. I know Albions don't know what they're talking about. I've worked with them my whole entire life. Every Asiatics that's lived that life, raised by Albions, worked with Albions their whole entire life, they know they don't know what they're talking about. And you can see, look at the counties when you go into the counties. Has anybody ever gone into a county court building? Yes, no, maybe? All right. Huh? What?
According to where?
According to what?
A county court
Going
building.
into where? You
County
said,
court
has
building.
anyone going into a
County court building.
Yes, a county court building. Have you been in one? Who's in there? Who's running the place?
Well, I'll go see
When I went
Center
to
Street.
my name change degree, it was empty.
Oh yeah, the COVID is really doing its number.
But behind the doors was loud.
Yeah, because they're putting them in place. But they wasn't there before. You wouldn't be able to go in there and see just maybe 1 or 2. That's usually the consistent. That's usually every organization, corporation, they got a couple of them in there, so you don't feel, so you feel like you're coming somewhere, like you're arriving. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it don't take much for us to feel like we doing something. They gave you a fake black president. Obama's not black, nor is he Asiatic. And he's an Albion. Why is Barack Obama an Albion? Because Murman's right? His mom's from where? German, right? Huh?
He's a hybrid.
I'm not going to say these types of things because our people love him. They love him. Do you know why they love him though?
He's a symbol.
He's a symbol of hope, a beacon light. to them to feel like they're going somewhere. And they only did that to get him to you to feel that way, to stay engaged. They know what's coming before you know. 20 years before you know. Guess how? Astrology. That book we closed up and burnt. I know we love astrology, right? But Christianity tells you that it's demonic, right? But it's your defense to know somebody. Keep away from your own science. Because think about
devils in astrology.
Think about the Clock of Destiny. Has anybody read that book? Oh, good. The Clock of Destiny said harmony. Because you got 4 elements. What are the 4 elements? We probably got every 4 in here.
Fire,
water, air, earth. What is harmonious to the other?
Fire and water.
Fire and water is not harmonious. Water is going to put out fire, or fire is going to burn water.
Air and fire is harmonious.
Air and fire.
Is a fuel.
Yes.
Earth and water goes together.
There you go. There you go. Did you know that?
What about the 5th element?
What about the 5th what? What's the 5th? Tell me what the 5th element is. Are you talking about the 5th element, the movie?
No, it's
Ether.
Obviously, right? But can you touch the ether? You can touch air, water. Well, can you touch air?
I just
You
did.
can feel it. You felt it, but did you touch it?
Touch you.
It touched you, right? So when you talk about earth, what is it? Earth and water, because the earth can't exist without water. Can the water exist without earth? Yeah, because it needs something to float on, right? So that's harmony. And then air and fire is harmony. Now, when you think about your relationships, who's in a harmonious relationship?
Nobody.
You're in a harmonious
It
relationship?
depends on what?
What?
They have fire in their chart, because you can have.
Oh, we just talking about the sun. We ain't going all through all the shapes of life. That's a whole other topic.
because we got our
Islam.
natal chart.
Right, because you got your what? Your Trinity. What's your Trinity? That's not the Trinity. No, what's the Trinity? I know my Trinity. Do you know your Trinity?
Yes.
What's your Trinity?
For my Trinity?
Yes. It's not a secret. Albions know your Trinity. Albions know my Trinity. Because we were born in the hospitals and gave them all types of information.
I wasn't born in the hospital.
Where was you born?
In my lab, I got the midwife.
Okay, so what's your Trinity? I still ain't answer that.
I didn't know that I had a Trinity. I was called.
Rising, sun, moon.
Okay, right. You mean in astrology?
Yes. Well, there ain't no other Trinity. I mean, they keep making things, but you know, ain't the Mother, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. What's the Holy
Holy
Ghost?
Ghost is
Yeah, I
a
said
feminine.
I said mother.
That's when they kill the woman.
Oh, Mother, Father, and Child. Okay,
That's the sacrifice of the mother.
That's the
okay.
That's what I did.
That's the hormone.
Because you have the
And it ain't
Father
just
and
what
the
you
Son and
feel.
the
That's
Spirit.
what your ancestors
yeah.
is telling you inside of yourself. Because we already know all of the answers. It's literally within us.
Patriarchal system sacrifice this Holy Spirit, which is the feminine.
I did a video on Rise of the Matriarchal. Did anybody watch it? What y'all be watching on TV? Y'all be watching who? Taj? That's it? Just Taj? You watch who? Oh, he
Dark
done.
Crystal, I'm watching.
Oh, that was a good TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, like with the
Oh,
Muppets.
yeah, that's what they talked about. Yeah.
They talking about astrology. They talking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I put on my favorite.
That's a really good show, right? What was the question? I had a
What's your
question.
Trinity?
Trinity. What's my Trinity? You want to know my Trinity? No, I don't want to tell you. You got to tell me first yours. So you got to find yours out first. Which Trinity is.
I have my own.
Right? So you got to be in a harmonious relationship. As well as the Clock of Destiny also teaches you how to conceive. When to conceive. So you don't have an unruly house. Right?
Underworld children.
We just all willy-nilly, y'all. Right? So how we gonna fit? What are we gonna do to start problem. And what's up, Akila? You gonna stop looking depressed every time I see you. Only when I get your attention, then you start smiling and getting all bubbly. But when I gaze over there, you be in contemplation. What was you just thinking about?
Maybe I like that all the time.
Yeah, because I've been peeping you. I've been like, she ain't never smiling. And y'all all local. How far are y'all from here? All the people here. Y'all like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? You in the Bronx? Oh yeah, Bronx is kind of far. You're in New York too? You're in Jersey? Brooklyn?
No, I see.
Well, when y'all gonna start having study groups? I know she be having study groups. She got a plan. And they all nationalized. They just have it on the phone, right? What about the libraries that are local? What about the local libraries? They're all closed still? Closed? What about businesses? Do we have businesses, own businesses besides the Jamaica spot? Where the food at?
It was back there.
Oh, it's back there? Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be over here.
I'm like, wait a minute. My nose is clogged. I'm not smelling it.
It's not sharing the food out.
Let me open my nostril, huh? It's not my nose? You're not smelling it either?
Anyone needs an electrician?
Huh?
Anyone needs an electrician?
Electricians? That's what we need to know. Now, one of the things on the website, on the government website, does anybody know what the government website is since 90% of you are nationals? What's the government website? Let's see if you get that right. You already know it. That's the not fair. What's the consulate's website? .org, right? Okay. You are an electrician. You can do electrical work, right?
Yeah.
Do you work independently or do you work for someone? Or do you do both?
Both.
What's your name of your business?
Thomas Electrical Estimates.
Oh.
My mother she has her own electrical company, which I work. I do estimates for her.
His long.
And stuff on it.
What else? What else? What other merchants are here?
We have a boxing trainer here.
You got a boxer trainer?
Nice.
You train boxers? Yeah, we're gonna need that for the youth. It's not. We're gonna need that. Where you going?
We have 2 birth and postpartum doulas right here.
You have a doula?
We are doulas.
Oh man. Right. Now what's the business called? What's the name of y'all corporation or y'all merchant?
We work together sometimes, but most of the time. I have worked on the garage.
And I have guys.
So how many births have you done, please?
Just so comment last year has been videos about 25, which is honestly about.
Were they all in home?
Unfortunately, I've done very little home births, and mostly people go to the hospital.
Because they scared.
Yeah.
They allow the ambiance to scare them. That's the only thing they got is fear. Think about everything that you do, right? Think about everything else in life. Did you do it because it made sense, or did you get fear? Did you get coerced through fear and intimidation to get it done by the ambiance? When it's talking about hospitals, when it's talking about birthing, our people are scared that their children are going to die. And they get fear through those agencies, right?
I've watched these agencies. We both have witnessed these agencies, like fear mongering. Like I've been in prenatal visits, and I'm looking at the person like,
just don't listen to
Just
them.
don't listen, but it's hard.
It is hard.
Getting it from everybody in your business, people surrounding
even
you.
your
Yes.
family, right? Your family will tell you.
Yes.
Go to the hospital.
Just listen to them.
Yes.
I remember when I was pregnant with my last child, I was getting my hair braided. And while I was getting my hair braided, I was looking at home birth videos because I was preparing myself in year number 9. And the woman braided my hair. She was like, why are you watching that? And I was like, because I'm going to have home birth. And she was like, and I couldn't believe she said that because I'm like, you're African. Like, I would think that she would want to, encourage me to have home birth. She was like, you need to just go to the hospital and have your baby. They got bags for that. I said, oh, she's joking. Because we're not on the same type of time. I see that already. So I had my 3-hour home birth and it was quick that they
You wasn't stressed out
at all.
They didn't pump no medicine in there to try to induce you. This long. Congratulations.
I have a question though. So the people that you usually help, are they Moors or are they Europeans?
They're not aware that they're Moors.
Most of them don't, right? That is true. That is true. We have one doula who's registered, well, not necessarily registered, who's on the government website. And we do need more. We need more business. Like, y'all need to be writing down your businesses so we can put you on the images of a Maxim. We have a subpage on the government website for Moors to start talking about, okay, well, what do you do? What do you know how to do? How about you come on this registry so Moors have options? Because they don't want it. A lot of Moors, at least. I ain't talking about our people who still haven't figured it out. Moors want to have home births. Yeah. Moors want to go to a Moroccan electrician, construction worker. They need these different merchants. And but understand, it takes time to build that trust, to build it, and it has to be locally. As well as it can be internationally, as well as you can go take your butt down to Jersey and do some work, or you can take your butt down to Pennsylvania and do some work. You know what I'm saying? I was like, so this is how you start getting back into your community. Because what did they say? What was his name? Claude Anderson. Does anybody remember Claude Anderson? Who was Claude Anderson? Do you know him? Yep, he worked for one of the Bushes. He was an advisor to one of the Bushes. He was about group economics, black economics, right? Keeping the wealth in your community before you go out and outsource it through an independent contractor from another nation, right? And he let you know that wealth in our communities doesn't stay there at all. It literally, as soon as you get it, you send it right back out. And you know you do it in every aspect of your life. You do it.
Our clothing that we
Because when I
wear.
was doing hair, my family wouldn't pay me, but they would go to a hairdresser and pay them.
Yes.
And that's why I kind of stopped doing hair. I just do it for myself.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that also. When you get our hair done, be careful because that lady who's doing your hair, she's giving you energy through your head, and that's your crown chakra.
Right.
Yep.
So we have to. When I wanted to get my hair locked, I was doing research, and I still want to. But you have to research and know who you have locked in your hair.
Absolutely.
Because that is a spiritual energy exchange. Also, it's a ritual.
Yes.
We don't understand, and that's something that we forgot, and we need to start to remember again. Like even getting your toes done, anything that is concerning your whole body, it's a ritual.
Yes. That's so true.
Even
And
the products we buy, who we buy.
yep.
Because we like shea moisture and it's not probiotics.
Exactly. There's another Moabitess. Her name is she is the consort of Asir Duhatirs. And I can't remember her appellation, but her merchant, her Moorish company is Cordova Organics. And the Islam is called Cordova Organics, and she does awesome skincare, hair care. And it's all natural. As opposed to the stuff that you're going to get at the store, Islam, as opposed to the stuff that you're going to get at the store. Because like I said, they are doing chemical warfare on every aspect of your life. Everything. Hair products, all of that stuff. Eventually, hopefully, the mothers will stop doing the relaxed hair, the relaxing of their
It needs
hair.
to be out of the shelves, out of the stores, out of
Well, no, it doesn't need to be out of the stores. We just need to stop participating. We need to realize that we have natural beauty that we don't have to accentuate because we are naturally
that
beautiful.
part too, but when we take back our resources,
Those stores are going to dry up anyway.
exactly,
They ain't got to worry
because they're not
about
going
it.
to be able to get the sources to make that type of chemicals anymore because it's our resources that they're using to come and use
Yeah, but our
against
people
us.
are the ones that are doing it. Who else is buying it?
That part, I can.
Nobody else is buying the hair. Ain't nobody else buying perm hair stuff, but our people. But actually, I'll be honest, do buy the perms when they have really. Seriously though. When they have really colorful, when they have really coiled hair, they actually buy the perms to perm their hair as well. So yeah, they do
It
too.
stinks and it takes a long process.
You shouldn't even do it because it's a chemical, and you're putting it on your root chakra. This is a root chakra. This is a root chakra, and so is your feet. All right, think about your feet. Now we're gonna go on. We're going to like 20 topics at once. Think about your feet. Let's talk about the feet.
It's your soul.
Good point. She just made a point that I don't think anybody related. Your feet is your soul.
Yeah.
right? Let's talk about it. What does that mean? Think about your feet and the health of your feet.
There's attached to your major arteries, a lot of different points in there, nerve endings.
I know Dr. Layla Africa did a book on a different face. I don't know if it was because I didn't really get a chance to read the book yet.
Reflexology, that's what it's called.
It's called reflexology. All right, when you go get detox, what do they do? They put your feet in water, right?
Yeah, the ionic foot soaker.
So what's coming out your feet?
All sorts of stuff. Toxins.
So if your feet are not healthy, doesn't that mean you are not healthy? If you have things growing on your feet, if you don't get the scales off the bottom of your feet, that thick callus nonsense on the bottom of your feet is blocking the toxins from releasing out of your feet when you take a bath. Your feet's supposed to stay clean and you're supposed to root them in the ground as well. Right? Because guess what the ground is doing? It's healing them. It literally is doing that. And you can tell if you're going to get sick if you got stuff going on with your feet.
It's grounding though, right? It's grounding.
It's grounding,
Well,
yes.
In electrical, you know, when you got electrical energy coming, like we usually put a copper rod in the ground, you know, like about 6 feet down in the ground, you know, just in case, you know, any electrical current is going to flow to the ground, to the earth.
That's awesome, right?
Now it's coming from the earth core.
Say that one more time. Yes. Because earth is a living being too. It's the first living being, right?
Did you say you should root your feet in the ground?
Yes. Not in the ground. Well, not in the ground. I mean, like, take your shoes off and walk around.
There's some sort of study out there.
I always walked around without my shoes on. Always. Everybody like, Sharon, put some shoes on. I don't want no shoes. I don't know why I did it. I probably was sitting there, you know, all the chemical warfare we deal with. Some things we do instinctually out of just knowing how to do it. Just like Epsom salt, taking baths in magnesium. That's what Epsom salt is, magnesium. Right? Right?
Yeah.
So think about all your pores. Everything that releases toxins, right? The more toxins you release, like your feet, what else? Your vaginal, your penis, your hands, your nose, your eyes, your ears. Your underarms is a good one too, right? That's why they got you putting deodorant. You ain't really supposed to be putting that bad stuff there, right?
Your teeth.
Teeth is a big one too, absolutely. But we're not protecting any of this. We're just living, we're just existing.
Really, your whole body, your skin absorbs whatever you put on it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the largest organ, right? So we got all this. So we need an assessment of what you guys can do. So it can be on moorish2moorish.com. So it can be on Images of a Maxim. We have to get back into our merchant abilities. You do it every day of your life. We have to network. That's what the Moorish to Moorish platform is about. That's what Images of a Maxim is about. To start showing Moors that you already are wealthy. You holding up the whole economy. But ain't the ones profiting off of it. Even though you're the beneficiaries. And don't let nobody tell you, I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. That you don't need to know what the UCCs are or the secure transactions are. If you don't need to know these things, these international laws. You're being subject to them already. You need to know how to defend yourselves. If you don't know how to defend yourselves, how the hell do you even put your hands up? If you don't know that you have to put your hands up and somebody's about to wollywop you in your face. And they're bollywopping you in the face every day. And just like you said, like we said earlier, where are all our people? Because they're not in the streets, right? Where they at? They in facilities. Why we put them there? You know, all they're doing is doing research on them. And what is, oh shucks. And what is the major research that they're doing? What's the major research? What is a hospital? What is the purpose of it?
Medical research.
Is it medical research?
Not really, but for them it is.
What are they trying to do?
Destroy you.
What are they using the hospitals for? Okay, they want that, but they can't steal that.
Practice.
Oh, trafficking, human trafficking.
For what?
For their game, for anything.
It's called organ harvesting. It's called blood. You know, that vampire, all of these movies is talking about us in a weird connotative fairy tale type of way, right?
Why do they need so much blood?
Because they're recessive, meaning they can't hold. Okay, is anybody into horror flicks here? This is the easiest way to express it. If you're into horror flicks or ghosts and goblins and stuff like that, what do ghosts need? What do they eat? What do they eat?
A host.
They eat the living, right? The dead people, the walking dead people. In order to survive, they eat the living, right? Because they're dead. They don't have any energy. What does a living dead person do? They're succubuses. And I'm talking about people who can't work, who don't want to do nothing, who always begging. That's mostly our people. They're succubuses, right? So they're dead souls living, but they're dead because they choose to be, right? They're zombies. And they're siphoning off of the energy of the living, which is you, which is me. We woke up. We saw that there was an issue. And now you got all the people still dead wanting to put you back to sleep, right? Now when you think about spirits in a house, and all they want is to live again. All they want is to inhabit your vessel. Because this is, some people say, a spaceship. So when you think about the trillion piece of friendship, what are they talking about? Vessels, right? You thought it was just a ship. It's anything that carries souls. That's what a vessel is, right? This is a vessel. This is the world, right? We're having an experience. Like if you really want to go metaphysical, and I think Dr. Phil Valentine does a great job at that, but some people can't grasp it because it's going to take you straight off world.
As it should.
Some of our people don't know how to do that and come back, right? Before you can start talking metaphysical, you have to know who you are first. You have to get grounded and rooted. And if you don't know anything about your spirit, what is inhabited in this vessel, right? You got a spirit, you got a soul. Some people don't have a spirit. Shit, some people don't even have a soul, right? And you can tell. Because guess what? When you look at your vessel, think about your vessel. This is a vessel. Some of us know how to keep them nice and good. I know, thank you. Some of us know how to keep them working and functioning. But then some of them are just decaying. Why? You can just look outside and see dead people walking. And our people are not dead, they're zombies. But then there's other people who are dead, looking to siphon off your energy. And they've been doing a great job at it. Anybody saw Jupiter Rising?
Yes, sir.
Jupiter Rising was good, wasn't it? It was a great movie, right? What was they doing?
So I'm trying to come back to the living.
They was on what? They were still in the essence, the soul, the spirit. They were still in everything to stay alive. And they were doing that for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Wasn't they also doing that in Black Crystal? Is it Dark Crystal? Dark Crystal. They're showing you they're using your life force, depleting you so they can sustain their life.
Well, that makes me think of the
Henrietta Lacks.
Yeah.
That's every Asiatic. That's not just Henrietta Lacks. She was not an anomaly.
Exactly.
She comes from you. We are descendants of Henrietta Lacks, right? They use us. That's why they had. That's the whole purpose of the hospital, to get some of our DNA so they can take care of themselves, because they needed to survive. Well, why would a living being who is from here need the indigenous population to survive? What is so recessive in them? What is it? Let's talk about it, because everybody got their ideas about, and nature tells you the truth. You ignore it. You fight it. Because nature tells you what is the problem. Who? Tarzan? What did Tarzan say? About who? Say.
Raised by apes?
Huh?
He was raised by apes.
He was raised by apes, right. What did he say specifically though? Remember it messaging me, because everybody messages me. Oh my God, I be having to turn my phone all the way off, right? All types of times, right? So you got the Dr. Monroe, you got the Yakub experiment. You have so many ideologies of it. Let's go with just everything comes from us. So we are responsible for everything that exists on this planet because we are the stewards of the planet, right? So we are the source and we are the stewards of the planet. Everything comes from us, right? Just like how they say we have albions or albinos. So let's think about the albinos who's devoid of melanin, right? So the Yakub experiment talked about selective breeding. Isn't that going on right now? Don't you have that 4 classifications? Does anybody know the 4 classifications of the so-called humanoid and the so-called Yakubian experience? And I'm just using this because just to tap your energy, just to get you thinking. What's the top of the 4 classifications? The top of the 4 classifications of humanoids. You got the brown people, which is us, at the top. You got the yellow people, which is who? The who? The Asian. You said it. I heard it. The Asians. You got the, what's the other one? You got the red people, which is what? Taínos and the Mexicans. And then you have the white people, which is the Albions. The pale skins. You got the top, the bottom. It ain't no side. Top, bottom. Right? This is recessive. So when they say it's a recessive gene, it comes from the root. The root is the melanated person. They come from us, y'all. Y'all can sit here and think they came off a spaceship. What's a spaceship? It's a vessel. We create everything good here and everything bad. And everything in between. So if they come from us, right? Because we wouldn't be able to have a child with an albion if they were not us. Y'all, come on. Nature tells you the truth. You refute it. They refuted. They were taught to self-breed. They were taught that from us. Because we wasn't going.
We wasn't supposed to.
We would never do that. Okay? So you gotta realize that they are a recessive gene. We did selective breeding and we classified people. And then we controlled them. Right? We created all the systems of the world. All of them. So we can't then sit here and say, oh, they come from a spaceship. And this is us always trying to reject what we did. Our responsibility. Right? We left them to defend for themselves. Where did we leave them at, y'all? The Caucasus Mountains. What did we do to them? We got to accept the stuff that we did. Right? What we do? We left the men there. We took the women. Did we not? Some of our people like to say we forced our sons to cohabitate with them. I don't agree with that. But you could prove me wrong. I would love for you to do that. Because they're still here. So apparently there was some type of agreement. Because if there was no cohabitation and it wasn't accepted, how did it get here like this in this many? How? Do y'all realize what is in those temples? In Egypt, Kemet? How can you refute you? You're everywhere. You're on the temples with the noses that got burnt off or blown up so you wouldn't see the Asiatic noses, right? Hiding you. Every archaeological dig, what are they digging up? Huh? They're digging you up. Do they ever dig up a Caucasian?
No.
Why? Here's a better question. Why don't they dig up a Caucasian? Why can't they find no Caucasian mummies? Well, were they around? That's debatable. That's debatable. What happens to them when they die? Do they stay around? I mean, we preserved our bodies. I don't know why we do that. I mean, because I think ancestrally we used to burn them because we need to release the soul. Why would we embalm them? I mean, why would we cage the souls so they can't come quickly right? Because if you embalm and do all that other stuff to a vessel, well, damn, how the spirit getting out? And there's some people who think when you die, the reasons why they do all this funeral is so you don't come back so fast. That's what they say. I don't know how valid that is, because the soul is supposed to be able to release, and they say it's supposed to be released through fire.
That's some truth in it, that way you can leave your body and come back. So there's some form of...
Yeah, so you're supposed to burn the body so it can't come back, right? And they tell you this in a lot of the supernatural movies where in order to get rid of a so-called demon, what they had to do, they had to burn the remains, because they can dwell and stay here as long as that vessel is here. And it takes so long for our bodies to decompose back into the earth because of what they do when they're doing the so-called funeral stuff. That's a little bit, partly why I'm sure the Muslims don't bury you and let you do all of that stuff to their kin. So when they do release, they go. I know I want to be burnt if nobody knows. I don't want to be sitting in the earth waiting 40 years for that body to decompose so I can leave and then come back. So they're making sure you don't come back so fast. Because we come back later. It takes us a minute. As soon as they die, they decompose, they right back. Right? And the problem is they don't want to come back unknowing. So they don't like leaving. So they're going to try to stay as long as they can. So they don't gotta go through the Stargate and then come wake up a baby and can't do nothing. These are just different things that I've learned. Apologies. Oh, thank you. Selena Cordoba L. And it's www.cordobaorganics.com. I love her products. I love her products. Dear Sukatir's consort. Her products are the most hydrating I have ever seen. And I've tried so many different things. She has the best product out there that I know of. But there's so many more who have the same thing. Why don't we know them? I promote her every time I talk about it. Copper Vibrations is another one. They used to be exclusively on Facebook. I'm on Facebook for networking purposes because I know all our people are there, and that's how they promote themselves, right? We have to start learning, as well as seamstresses. Who knows how to sew? I mean, you leaving us? Oh, you leaving us too? Peace and love.
It's the Trinity.
It's the Trinity. Y'all have a good day. Islam. I love that. You know what? You're gonna have to take that. You're gonna have to burn that shirt. It's a beautiful shirt, but you are not a whore.
Oh,
that's what Queen means.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you gotta take that off next time. Don't do that. Those Albions like, look at them. They know the state of our people by the way they work, the things they wear, the words coming out of their mouth, and all of these things. So the reasons they have all of our people in all of these facilities is because they're scared. Why are they scared? Do you think you would want to be around the people you're subjugating and violating? Do you really think that they know what's going on? They so scared. They are.
Really want a
It's
lion
all
walking
right.
outside.
Over there hiding behind the things.
Really want a lion walking outside your door.
I mean, here's the crazy part I always say. Why would you, if you know you were frauding and committing all types of atrocities, why would you keep records of it? And why would they be on the World Wide Web for anybody to pick it up? And everybody to pick it up. People used to think, people thought based on my liens that I was stalking them. How'd she find this information? No, it's public record. You're a freaking corpse. You're a corpse. You don't have any privacy. It's on the public record. You just need to know how to find it. And it's so easy to find. That's why you have some people who walk around with foil on their heads. Or they blocking out signals so you can't receive because they know what's going on. We think they're crazy. But they know what's going on. The world has taken all of your scholars and either made them crazy or made you think that they're crazy, put them in a POW camp, or declared them mentally insane. While all the crazy people who belong in those facilities is out running around and ruling the world. These are just things to think about. What time is it? Who came here to Nationality?
353.
3:53. Is all?
Yes, I did.
You got one part. Oh, you got your documents already?
I have them filled out. I told you I did it online.
Are they online? Okay, so you're gonna mail it in. It's
I'm
on.
mailing them too.
Huh?
I'm mailing them too.
What about you?
Doing it online.
You doing it online? How long you been sitting on your paperwork?
I've been dragging my feet, but I'm wondering now. Wow.
That wasn't an evasive question. It was very specific.
About a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what has been your stumbling blocks? Because I know probably what they are.
Me, I guess.
That was just you, really?
Just being caught up in everyday hustling and bustling and being distracted. But there's no excuse.
No, it's not necessarily, but there's a lot of confusion out there as it relates to what to do. Because if our people are so good at talking, right? This platform, I have a purpose. The purpose is to engage you.
Right.
It's to get you thinking. It's to wake you up. I'm here to wake you up, y'all. Seriously. I do social media. I have exposed myself beyond my comfort level to let you know that what you're scared of. If I can do it, you can do it. That's all Jesus was trying to show you, is that I in you. We are kin. Nothing I'm doing, you can't do. That's all he was trying to tell y'all. The Holy Circle 7 Quran goes a little deeper as it relates to what he was trying to show you, who you are, how divine you are, how spiritual you are. And do you realize if we keep the lights on, let's say, if we do what we need to do for our heirs, they're going to reciprocate, they're going to pay it forward by doing it for you when you come back, if you're forced to come back. I told my mom, I was like, I ain't coming back here. If these people don't get it together this time, I don't want to come back. Because what is we coming back to? Seriously, where are our people today? Half of them are male, female, female, male, unisex, trans. What are we coming back to? When are we going to make a decision to do something? Instead of waiting for somebody to drop from the sky. Are y'all really waiting for that? Because what's going to drop from the sky is probably going to be a damn meteor to end it all. You're going to be sitting here like, oh, the Messiah's coming down in a bowl of fire. And I'm going to be the only one. Oh, come on, y'all. Let's go get it. Let's go underground while these people. Because then when we come back up, we got to do all the work now. We ain't going to have no slave labor. We ain't supposed to have no slave labor. Just trying to say that. We ain't supposed to have that. We ain't going to have no slave labor. Understand, we had slaves and they were our own people, and it's because they chose to be that. Our people are choosing to stay there, y'all.
I think that kind of always been thought to look for a savior. You know, Jesus is coming.
But they killed them all.
Yeah.
And they're eventually, like people try to hold me up. People try to hold me up to that level. I'm like, don't do that. They all died. I ain't trying to die. I ain't no Messiah. I can't save you. I can only save me. Exactly. They're always looking for one person so they can dump all their sins on. Like, here you go, because I can't carry it. You carry all my sins and die for me. Do you know that is the most asinine thing to think, that somebody died for you? And they absorb. There's a movie called Sin Eater. They think Jesus was a sin eater. They think Jesus was supposed to go around, collect all your sins, and then die. So you can just go on the world doing whatever you want to do, but when you walk in church or the synagogue or the temple, you saved. That's the most craziest, insane thing to think of. To think that and think about those churches. Have they done anything for you? What have they done for our communities?
Take the money.
They take money. You thought you made money?
No, took it. You said, what have they done?
Yes, they had. Yup, that's what they did. They took the money and left you what?
Produce mental illness.
Produce mental. Who's producing the mental illness? You think that that's who's doing it? Do you realize you are God? You are God. You are the controller of your own vessel. You can't blame no outside source of that. Really, you can't. I'm trying to tell y'all. A lot of women get sexually abused in bars. Right? Get raped. Some people are saying, I know you're going to get mad at me and I don't care. I'm here to make you think. Who's really at fault? What is a bar? What is a bar?
British.
A what?
British, what is it called? British what?
Oh, you talking that bar. Okay. I get it. But that's where they all convene. A bar, right? But what was a bar called back in the day? Speakeasy. It's a speakeasy. But what was it called before it was a speakeasy? A brothel. What did they used to do in brothels?
Prostitution.
Well, they did prostitution, they raped, they did all types of stuff in brothels. They just got modern terms for things that they used to be. They're still that today. They're still that today. They never stopped being that. They get women to come into these bars, drink, get intoxicated, get slipped a Mickey, get slipped all types of substances, and then end up getting raped. Because that was the whole purpose of that facility. It's the purpose for it. You gotta understand your enemy. It's all around you, right? And they know what your sins are. They know what our sins are. They know what we reduce ourselves to. They know what we like. They know what we don't like. We don't like each other. We claim to like each other, but why can't we come together and do nothing? We can't even have football. They can't even have baseball. Where's the Little League? Because I see people playing outside and they ain't us. Why can't we hold these things together? But instead of talking about why, what we gonna do today? What are the Moors local to New York gonna do today?
I think it's the culture. I think culture creates commerce.
Culture is commerce, right? But if you have no culture, because our people have no culture, because they have no past. And if you don't know your past, how can you have a future? Right? Knowing your past is first knowing who you are. You got to start there. That's the starting point. That's why that's tier 1 on the government website. It's tier 1. Who you are. Culture. History. You knew how to plant. How come most of our people don't even know how? They think gardening is the hardest thing ever. Right? It's the easiest thing ever. All you need is a seed and some soil and you water it. Why we can't do that? You're supposed to talk to it. It's a living thing.
Back to that psychopathic. This is what it is. You ask them what are they going to do? They got to get their head right. You know, they got to realize who
it ain't they. We.
Yeah, we got to get our head.
We got to get them together because they are our kin.
Yeah,
they are our tribe.
Yeah.
The more they declare their status, the less we got to fight them. Because we got to fight them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to unfortunately look at other cultures.
It ain't got to look at other cultures. It is our culture. What do you mean?
I mean, look,
that's what we do right now, right?
Heimer a bit, slowly coming out. You know, some people are already open running, and some people are still trying to come out.
Right.
Something in that comatose state.
Right.
You know, you got to massage your body and make sure that are you coming out, brother? You know.
But we can't just do lip service. We got to say, where are we going next month? Who's going to host the next event? This is one of the things. And my family. We used to have family dinners. This is how, and you can try this in your own family and see just how it flows. Right? You had family dinners. Tribal dinners. Yeah, I'm just saying family because if you ain't a national, you're family. So until they become a national, they family. And that's not derogatory. That is what you are. You're also a dummy because that's what that means. You a dummy. You ain't got a nationality. That's what it means. It's not a derogatory term, it is the truth. Hi. Right? So when I try to do newsletters so we can stay connected, when I tried to do family dinners, it was always an issue. So we got to start with healing from trauma from our past. And when I talk about our past, I'm talking about in our families, dealing with the incest, dealing with the pedophilia, communicating with your moms and your dads and telling them what happened to you. Mine are dead. I can't. I can only talk to them. They be like, yeah, I'm mad. Yeah, I'm pissed. I love them, but I'm pissed. Right? If my mom was here today, like I tell everybody, I'm like, what you doing? I would hold her accountable, even though she would probably be like, my mom was a cursor, man. She cursed like a sailor. And she would curse you out in 2.5 seconds before you had a chance to even understand what she said. You done got assassinated. She was the ultimate assassin. And that was just from going to the store and picking up the wrong thing. But understand, I'm child 13. She probably had patience for child 1, 2, and 3. Right? Right? I'm talking about the child behind you, or not, yeah, the child behind you saying, no. I'm 1 and she tripping, right? Because they're dealing with a lot. But mothers, we gotta bring the matriarch back. Y'all gotta stand. Your sons is looking for you to stand. Because analytically speaking, it is the sons bringing you here. You ain't come here by yourself. Ain't that crazy? I did. Yeah, not like y'all. I came here first. I was like, yo, I'm going to fix this. This is crazy. I want to leave a legacy for my children. So if I leave, when I leave, they're good. Right? You're supposed to want the same for your children as well. And we got to get past our petty little differences. We got to forgive everybody who hurt us. Even if it's hard, trust me, I know. Everything that you suffer, I freaking know. I've gone through it. Seriously. And I think mom made me have to go through it just so I can express that to you. I've dealt with rape in my family. Okay? My mom, like I said, she was always at the speakeasies. She was always out doing whatever she was doing with adults did back then. And they partied hard. Right? While the community was raising your children. And I dealt with incest not only in my house, I dealt with little neighborhood bullies. I used to run from everybody. I was like the runner. They were like, where you at? She done ran. Always running. Still running today. I'll be sitting here talking to y'all 1 minute. The next minute, like, where you at? Go. Gone. If I drove, I'd be gone. Right? That's just me. I've always been like that. When the energy goes, when that energy starts plateauing and people start getting into that whoa, because it's easy to get into that moment because that's where you've been your entire life. Negative, hateful. Prophet Noble Juali said, I came here to teach you love. I came here to teach you how to love instead of hate. So you know what I have in my room? I have a picture of myself. And I tell myself, I love you. Not only in the mirror, I tell myself that. You have to start with loving self and forgiving yourself of all the traumas that you dealt with growing up. Whether it was from your mother, whether it was from your father, whether it was from your sisters and your brothers, your friends, your relationships. You have to learn to forgive. Because if you can't be yourself, and if you can't have support and protection and defense and security in your community, you're not going to find it anywhere else. Literally, you're not going to find it. That's where it starts. Now, if we have to have like little sessions where everybody start talking about stuff, and realize you're going to have to start talking about stuff, and that's for you sons too. Y'all mad, y'all angry. Y'all been abused too by women, grown women. They call them cougars. And they messing with you at 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9. And then you get out there hating on women, treating them horrible.
Well, that's never talked about. They don't.
It's never talked about. Why you think I'm talking about it?
10 years from now, 15.
We have to start talking about
That
it.
piece is just nonsense.
We have to start talking about it. And we have to get in relationships that are harmonious to us. And we have to, if we in a relationship and we ain't agreeing, you better sit down and figure out what you need to do to agree. Don't disrupt the home just because you have differences. Because you might think you're going to find something out there. No, you're not. I'm trying to tell you. No, you're not.
Some men I need to talk to. They've been able to have to take that negative energy and flip it to positive.
Say this again?
That negative energy that some of these women are projecting.
Oh.
Some men have been able to take that negative and flip it to a positive.
How?
Well, that's how you gotta do it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you gotta.
Because
I know what you want to throw.
the women's are mad.
And I can catch that and convert it into an energy that's positive for me.
One of the things I said, I wish I would have bought it, was we all have a responsibility
It creates a jealousy
to each other. Male's responsibility is to protect, defend, support. Protect, defend, support. But the women got to give them the tools on doing it. If you're not giving them the tools to do that, how can they do it? They learn it from you, mom. But if you create them to go into this social construct and you don't prepare them for it, they can't do what you ask them to do.
Have the people been decimated?
Have what people been decimated?
Our people.
Absolutely. What you mean? You can just walk outside and see.
My next to that, yes, you said absolutely. So how do you come back from that? If they're just totally, what's the word definite? To totally.
What does the Circle 7 Quran say? Where's that? I saw it. Give me that Circle 7. I'm going to tell you what it says.
Because they've been decimated, and how they going to come back together?
How they going to come back?
And so now is it like, excuse me, every man wants something? I mean,
you got to start learning what the codes is, what your law is, what your culture is. You got to start learning this, because understand the reasons why you are in that position is because you forgot. You're ignorant. You're incompetent. You're a child. You're a minor. Even if you're 50, 60, 70 years old. Don't matter. Right? So what does it say? I'm going to read it because it tells you how you get back. It tells you literally in the first chapter.
No, that's probably a question people think.
No. We're going to say it. I'm going to read it because y'all need to hear. You need to hear your strength.
There you go.
You need to hear your defense, your remedy. And this is long, so bear with me. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. They can't be measured, y'all. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Ye, from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. So stop fighting. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Remedy number 1. Creative faith gave to man the spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Because you got work to do. Gave him a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. So you're supposed to go through some things. Why did creative faith give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative faith give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the plane things that made manifest? Now ye, seraphim, I always say these words wrong, and angels and ye men. Hear now, protoplasm, earth, plant, and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of the earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders, and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, the water, the earth, the air. Hear now, oh, everything that is, or was, or evermore will be, for wisdom speaks from out of the highest planes of the spirit. Man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for things that are concerned with time will begin and end, because it is not finite. It's finite. It's not infinite. It is a created thing. The thought of Allah are the everlasting of the past unto the never-ending days to come, and so is man, the spirit man. But man, like every thought of Allah, was but a seed that was held within itself the potencies of Allah, just as a seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that especial plant. No spirit man, as seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of God. So you are every part of God. Now, seeds are perfect, ye as perfect as the source from which they come. You're going to be you're going to have a deficit because she has one. You can't heal if she ain't healed. Overstand. It is a relationship. Sons, y'all subject to mother. So if she's fury, you fury. You come from fury. If she's hail, you hail. If she's beautiful, so is you. Right? So you have a relationship with your mother, and it's subjective. Which means what? You can't come out of that. You ain't coming out no matter how much you try, no matter how many Albions you gain. You were subject to her. So when you go outside yourself, when you go outside of her, you have abandoned her, and guess what she did? She abandoned you too. You are no longer her heir, and you can't produce nothing outside of her. That is part of her, if it's outside of her. And when I mean outside of her, I mean those Albion women that y'all like to cohabitate with. And I say the same for the women, but go overstand. She's God. She's not subject to nothing. Overstand that, y'all. Stop fighting her. Help her. She's insane, you insane. She can't be sane if you're not sane. So you got to help her, right? Y'all strong. We built y'all strong. We built y'all. No. I'm still reading. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed must be deep-rooted in a soil that might grow, unfold, as does the bud unfold to show the flower. So plant your seed in some stuff that can grow and that ain't going to die. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was foreordained to be the Lord of plane of soul and the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth his seed into the soil of souls and grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all of the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear. The plane of soul is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast. In the slowing rhythms of this plane, the essence of life are manifest. The perfumes and the odors and the true sensations and all of love are manifest. And I'm going to get to the point I'm trying to get you to, right? All these souls' attributes become a body perfect, a body beautiful, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. So when you're in the soul plane, before you come into this manifested plane, you learn some stuff. So when you come here, you ain't coming here dumb, deaf, and blind. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundaries of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still, and then the essence took on a final garb. The perfumes and odors and the true sensations and all of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal nature was fully manifest, a nature that sprang forth through fleshy things. And here it goes. Without a foe, without an adversary, a soldier can never know his strength. And thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. So how you going to know you're strong if you ain't fighting? How can you overcome any adversity if you don't ever have a foe? And understand, everything you say, everything you do is a contract. So watch what you say. And watch what you do. I tell people all the time, I was like, you ain't getting me in no contract. Not at all, sure ain't. I'm like, I don't agree. I do not consent to contract. Because people hold you to these things. Right? So men, when you sit there and tell a woman you're going to love her forever, might not want to say that if you don't mean it. Because she's going to hold you to your words. She's going to hurt you to your declaration. So too women. Because we do crazy stuff too. Where do you think they learned it? Son and mothers, where do you think they learn how to do everything that you're doing to you?
From their mother.
Thank you. So if we want to beat the sons up, we got to go straight to mom. And understand, back in the day, when the sons would run around in the villages and do crazy stuff, where do we go? Mom. And that was back even when I was a child. If I was running around in the neighborhood doing some crazy stuff, the woman or the neighbor that saw it took her butt right to your house and told your mom. And your mom dealt with it. Or she said, wait till your dad home. That's how she transferred it, right? With the patriarchy, right? She took herself out of it and put the father in, right? And the father is a construct. Father is a construct, Morris. Get out your feelings. Don't care about how you feel. Father is a construct. You are to defend, protect, and support the woman you love. That is your agreement. And she created life and made it look like you. That's how much she loved you. She's like, I love you. So now you know how much she loved you because she done made another you. And she can't do it unless she loves you. Right?
So now, right in line with that psychopathic person, right? Now, if, like you said, we're supposed to protect her. This is my wife. I'm gonna make sure.
Well, she ain't a whore, so she's not a wife.
I didn't say that.
You said wife, baby.
Okay, yeah, okay. She's a
consort, baby, or your mate, or your
mate,
life being. I don't know what you want to call it.
And now in my new identity achievement, oh wow, I realized. But then wait a minute. My wife is a psychopath.
Still a wife. You see that, y'all?
Okay. Consort. My consort.
Do you realize you spelled her by calling her your wife?
Yeah.
You literally spelled her. You gave her negative energy. I'm saying we do it. Yeah. We do it. We all do it.
Exactly. But my consort is actually a psychopath. She has mental, because that's what a lot of our people suffer from in this, you know.
You attracted her, so what that makes you?
No, I'm just giving an example. Because what that makes me a man because I'm attracted to my female. So that's what it makes me. I'm not married.
You're attracted to your womb mate. She ain't a female.
To my womb.
I mean, I don't like none of those terms.
I mean, you know, this woman, this.
So are we talking third person? Are we talking third person, first person? Is this you, or are we just talking as an example?
No, I'm just saying an example. A lot of guys just tell you every day. I mean, these are issues that are going on. We have issues, and we have the psychological that needs to be addressed because a lot of people out here thinking that they're things right off the rip.
But guess what?
Yes.
Guess where you went wrong, and most of us go wrong when we pick our mates. Well, how do we go wrong? What do we use it as a determiner?
We didn't consider the astrology. We didn't consider.
Not only the astrology, you liked what she looked like.
A lot of guys and women do the same
I'm not
thing.
saying that we don't. I'm saying this is why we're not using our culture to pick our mates.
Absolutely.
We're using how we feel.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes.
emotions.
Well, that's the
Again, emotions.
Yes.
But you're setting yourself up to a world of hurt.
Yeah.
Because once those feelings dissipate, once it don't no longer feel good, once responsibility starts,
Yeah.
children come.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing the other little girl walking down the street that looks better now because she ain't had no experiences, right?
See.
I mean, she do it too,
Exactly.
right? So we make contracts that we never ever intend to honor.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right?
Absolutely.
So understand, we got to take our responsibility as well, right? We're picking mates not based on harmony in earth, harmony in our culture, and we're paying dearly for it.
Yeah.
I hear men talking about the women that they're with all of the, and they send the Albions after them. The men send the Albions after them, and now women, they got you dead to rights now, because they doing what you taught them. So now they doing the same thing. So instead of you thinking that you're going to be mom and you're going to get welfare and you're going to do all this and you're going to put him in the clinker, now she got you in the clinker. So now men is doing the same thing. You get what you ask for, right? You teach them, they learn from you, right?
Well, it starts from mother, right?
It starts from mother, right? Right. I'm trying to tell you, your issues stem from her, but you still don't have a past by how you behave. Because you know subconsciously what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, everything you do. Whenever you cheat, you know you cheating.
I think
Whenever you express the one thing that's the sexiest thing about a man is when he can be honest about his situation, about who he is, what he wants.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna be honest right along with you. Because let's talk about. I know you're gonna get in your feelings. I don't care. Dealing with reality. Who came up with this marriage garbage?
Oh, that's fine.
And then you isolate each other. You can't have no friends. She can't have no friends. Y'all all miserable because you ain't got nobody to talk to about each other. We had communities where as though we didn't have that issue, right? You ain't making sure the family like you, so now you got that issue, right? We're not taking the spouses home or the consorts home to meet mom to see if mom like her, right? Because mom is, huh? Yeah, courtship. Mom don't find out until baby number 4 here, and you need a babysitter, right? And then the women you pick, I don't even know how you got past the first night. Same too with men.
What's the importance of mom meeting them?
The importance of mom meeting her because she will be able to tell you her true intent. She just like your dad can sense a player, so can your mom. And your mom will be able to sense whether or not that woman really repping you, but overstand y'all know too. Because y'all sit here and get in position so you can take care of a woman. So you can have a pick of the litter. Right?
Don't forget, Sharon, also it's the energies too with the signs. Right, the fire and the air.
Right. If you're deficit, like I'm deficit in earth. I don't have a grounder. I'll say that out loud. I'm flying in the air like I'm never coming down to the earth. You ain't getting me down there. Right? So I'm attracted to earth. Well, damn it, I don't like Virgos. I love y'all. Who's a Virgo? Raise your hand. Who else is a Virgo? Huh? Well, that's good. You're balanced. You're balanced, stir. But y'all so fixed energies.
We are.
So fixed. God damn, can't get y'all to make a decision to save your life. But I'm surprised you made a decision. How'd you do it? Men have persuasions. They do. I swear to God, they do. Right? So, where was I at? Because you got me. But your sons know that you are subject to mother. You can't come out of that. But when you commit adultery, which is what? What is adultery? Let me see if y'all get this wrong. Look, I'm setting you up to fail. What is adultery?
You do a text state that you go outside your marriage.
What is a marriage?
So-called.
Because a marriage doesn't exist in our culture.
You go outside your marriage.
We don't have marriages. What is adultery? So he says when you go outside your marriage. It's actually when you go outside your nation. Don't say nothing about that. Because the contract between a woman and a man is unique to you. Can't nobody tell you what you can and can't do. And I need y'all to understand that. Because we in colonialism and we think we're supposed to be miserable. We ain't supposed to be miserable. We're supposed to have decisions as it relates to who we want to be with, and nobody can subject you to something you don't subject yourself to. It's all about contract. It's all about nature's law. So if you want to be with a man who likes multiple women, that's your prerogative. Some women are good with that. Some women like that co-relationship. I'm not one of them, just so y'all know. Nope, I don't share. And I mean that, even though I mean that, right? I don't. I'm selfish. And I can tell you this about me. I am selfish. I have certain sins that I can't, like I'm not going to be okay with you over here on Friday and on Saturday and Sunday you over there. I'm never going to be okay with that. Maybe one day. But if it works for you, guess who else it works for? I can have more than one husband if I choose to. Back in the day, we did that. We had one for every day of the week. We couldn't take y'all for 7 days, sons. Y'all drive us crazy. I know y'all want to hear that, and I know I ain't even getting the amen from the sons. I know. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you're not cool with it, I'm not cool with it. We want a monogamous relationship. We agree to it, stick to it. And when it's over, come together and make that choice. Because what comes from it? If we're not in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If we're not in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, guess where we at? If we ain't in love, we hate. If we ain't telling the truth, we lying. If we ain't at peace, we at war. If we believe in slavery, if we ain't freedom, we enslaved. And if we ain't for justice, we for corruption. So, this current state of things means that we are bottom tier. All across the board. So you can't say that I'm top tier when I'm lying. Being able to tell the truth is the most awesome thing in the world. And being able to receive it is the most awesome thing in the world. So if you can't accept the truth, you are not living in the top tier. Accept that about yourself. Move up. But just make sure you realize that you're making a conscious decision to stay down or to move up. You are making that decision. And you owe that decision to yourself. And at the end of the day, you're fighting yourself. So let me get back to where I was
And
at.
that's why you had to flip it to negative, positive.
Right? So that carnal soon became a foe that man must fight. So now you're fighting the flesh, y'all. That he might be strength and Allah may manifest. So you're here to deal with your stuff. You're here, this is the schoolhouse. So you're here to deal with whatever you're dealing with in your sign is what you're here to deal with. I'm a Sag, y'all. I got my stuff that I'm here to deal with. Every Virgo got theirs. And to have a harmonious relationship, whether it be in your tribes, whether it be in your relationships, you gotta be even. And if you've made a contract, you can release yourself from that contract if y'all two both agree. Start having those conversations. Stop thinking of the financial aspect of it. Because I already know, once we get our estates back and once we start operating in our sovereignty, 90% of relationships are going to end. Taj Street Bay talks about that. It's like, y'all don't even like each other. Why are y'all together? Money, financial stability, right? But are you happy? Do you know living without love is the most insane thing in the world?
Well, if you love yourself, right?
What? Come on, no, you don't. No, if you love yourself, you're gonna do what you need to do to be happy.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Right? And if your partner loves you and you love your partner, y'all can come to that agreement and it be a harmonious agreement on both sides, because women are only 9 times out of 10 with men for survival, and vice versa today, actually. Because women today are more together than most men.
Okay.
Let's be real.
Okay.
Prove me wrong. Look outside. I'm not saying look at you, the individual being. I'm talking about look at the majority. Men are living off of women. And women are taking advantage of that and treating them like a kid. And so he's retaliating by having his women, right? So he can feel better about himself. And vice versa. I know it's not that simple. There's rules and everything. Right? Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, of protoplast, of mineral, of plant, of beast. But he gave up his birthright just to gratify his lower self. So that was a conscious decision that we made. Is he okay? But man will regain his lost estate. This is the remedy, his heritage. But he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. So everything that you do is coming back to you, whether it's negative or positive. So I say do more positive than you do negative, so you can balance it out. I mean, because you're going to do negative stuff. You're going to sin That's why you're here. That's why we're here. We make bad decisions. Just as long as we release ourselves from them and ask to be released from them and don't hold them against each other, fighting each other. Who wants to be in a household where it's all fighting and bickering all the time? I can't take that energy. I walk out the door. Everybody be like, Sharon and ran. No, I didn't. I walked out the door. Right? Yea, he must suffer trials and tribulations and temptations manifold. But let him know that cherubims and seraphims that rule the stations of the sun and the spirit of the mighty Allah, who rule the solar system or the solar stars, are his protector and his guide, and they will lead to victory. They're kind of talking about your astrology. Get back into knowing yourself, because astrology is going to teach you you.
Yes.
That Trinity is going to teach you what you like, what you don't like. So when you start doing those things that you see, that you know about your chart, you be like, oh damn. You can stop yourself. Nobody else can stop you from doing the things that you do. What you? Or if you go too far, the Albion, because they're here for a reason. We created them for a reason. They can't exist without us. They come from us. They are dependent and subjective, just like the suns are subjective. Regardless of what we may think, what schools of thoughts we go to, it's reality. Man will be fully saved and redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When you get back to the spirit man, right? When man has conquered all carnal things, his garment flesh will then have served his purpose and purpose well, and it will fall and be no more. So you're going to suffer trials and tribulations. And you got to overcome them all. So if you love sex, well, that's your poison. Well, just because you love it don't mean you got to have it all the time with any old body. Because you're going to go through some things by doing that. Multiple children, possible STDs. Different things are going to happen to you. If you lie a lot, guess what's going to happen? People are not going to trust you anymore. Nobody's going to want to do business with you anymore. But when you start being honest and when you start being noble, now people are going to start wanting to be around you, because like energy attracts. Negative people like to be around negative people because they like talking shit. And the light being will leave that room real quick. Like, I can't take the energy in this room. You will feel it. I feel it in here. I feel the positive as well as the negative. It's here, right? When you hear something you ain't want to hear. When you thought I was specifically talking about you when it was your own energy talking to you. You're only going to get offended by the things I say if it applies to you. Fix it. Don't get mad at me just for saying it. Fix your shit, man, because I'm doing mine. And I'm talking to you about it. I have things that I'm going through currently in the man world. I thought I was writing y'all all the way off. I'm going to just tell y'all, I've been going through some stuff. I am not one that keep going through things. I don't want to keep trying. Some people keep doing that. I think it's insanity. Sorry. I had it one time. I had a horrible relationship. I said, I'm never doing that. And every time, you know, I get a Google eye, I'm sitting there like, I don't know who he's looking at, whatever. I'm going to keep my head in this book, and that's where I'm at. Mom said, no, you're not. She literally said that. So now I'm dealing with some things. With a specific individual who came back from my past, my childhood. Mommy knew she had to find somebody from my childhood. Because ain't no new man got a chance. Because my scimitar ready. Chucky ready. Because I'm going to slay you. On purpose. Just to back you down. Like, no, I'm good. I just want to focus on more science. I want to focus on this government. I want to get my stuff together. And that's all I got time for. Right? That's what I said to myself. And Mom said, okay, Chucky. And she bought somebody from my past. We'll see how things happen. We'll see.
Who's conscious?
Because of course, what the hell you think I do? What? I'm not going to sit here here and teach y'all to be all equally yoked and be like-minded individuals to be sitting here talking to somebody who's Negro, colored, and black. That don't even make sense. I don't give a damn how much your yoni may earn for him, because y'all yonis be earning for men today. Let me tell y'all, the stuff that we dealt with growing up, we were disconnected from our yoni. Socially engineered to be disconnected. Took years for us to get back connected. And I know sons don't understand what I'm saying, but mothers do. And that's what I'm talking about right now. Right? Disconnected. You can't even get me to say, ooh la 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 at all. You younger generation, man, y'all got us beat. Just full saying. It takes a lot to get connected.
It's taboo.
Right? What?
It's taboo.
What was taboo? What?
We
We ain't talk about nothing. We ain't learned nothing from our mamas. Our mama said, nope, you don't do nothing. It's all about the men. Blah, blah, blah. They socially mind jacked us, the elderly of our youth. Man, they had us completely walking around as zombies, dealing with anything. We would only pick a man just if he could take care of us. Didn't care if we liked them and all this other stuff. Moms didn't want to hear that. Our mothers were mean. And I ain't even talking about mom, because mom's passed away when I was 16.
That's the female side. There's a male side.
Absolutely, there's a male side. Absolutely. If you, that's why I say you need to take your mates home. You need to introduce them to your moms, and vice versa. Because guess what happens when something happens? You end up in jail. You end up somewhere in the hospital. These people are going to be making decisions for you and your family, and your tribe. So y'all got to get along. And you need to get past your little bickering and that light and dark garbage. We're still dealing with that a little bit. Not as much as we did back in the day where, you know, Asiatic sons only dated an Asiatic woman if she was fair-skinned. And then the dark, all the social engineering, now you got social media telling you, as well as movies. So now Asiatics is all over the TV. Have you noticed? Have y'all noticed? You can't watch a movie without an Asiatic in it today. And I like it. I would like it if it wasn't just watching Asiatic versions of an Albion sitcom. Right. If it wasn't just brown people acting like Albions, right? But we got to get through our own idea of what beauty is. Because when I see all women on TV compared to all the other people, I don't know how it stuck. I really don't. By not putting us in movies, it stuck. Because that's all you saw was Albions or fair-skinned Asiatics. If they even was Asiatic. Right? Then he will stand untrampled on the plane of soul where he must complete his victory. So y'all got to go through all the issues all the issues you have to go through. Your astrology is going to tell you what issues you're going to be dealing with and how to overcome them, which is the most important part. So your astrology is going to tell you your strengths and weaknesses, right? Weaknesses are potential strengths, but they're going to be a weakness if you don't know about them and you keep falling for it. So if you know your weaknesses, you talk too much. Stop talking. Or how about stop just reacting to everything that everybody says and stop internalizing everything, because sometimes it's your own energy that is fighting you. And the person that you're speaking to ain't even fighting you. They're like, what is wrong with this? God damn, I can't deal with her. Because women are hard to deal with. I know, we are.
Nah, you know. I said
we're not hard.
Boys.
What?
So it was an all-boy family, my family. So, you know, you have a girl, you know, third grade.
Let's just think about your relationships.
But
how hard was it to convince her to nationalize more? Sons, just be honest. How hard was it to convince your consort to nationalize? Because it was you that brought her here. She ain't come here by herself. I know. Who brought you here? Who introduced nationality? You or him? Okay. Everybody. What Asiatic, besides me, came here without her man suggesting it? Really? No, it was your mom. Was it your mom? Well, that was a man, so that don't count. But that was your dad at least. Islam. Huh? You came from the main, what?
My console.
She did?
Because of her father.
Exactly. It's usually the sons, because the sons are the ones like, yo, we getting our butts beat up out here. We getting filet mignon. So they trying anything and everything. Because our sons brought us to Islam, our sons brought, I think they might have brought us to Christianity with the churches, because they was the first original pastors in the churches. So I think it was our sons bringing us. They brought us to the darkness, they brought us to the light. We keep following y'all. We are submissive to y'all. I don't know why y'all think that we're not.
Well, I think
because you're the ones bringing us here. Well, you ain't bring me here. I came by myself, so you know I'm not like them.
Looking at the pride, looks like that would be a natural result of the sun.
Well, we're not animals, though.
No, I know, but just understand that's why ancestors put it down. So we, you know, I guess they might have figured you might have been lost somewhere. You know what I mean? We're gonna let you know we got pyramids with the hieroglyphics there. So in case you don't read, you can see a picture.
Yeah. And nature tells you the truth.
So now they tell you now with the lion and the lioness and the pride.
Yeah.
They're trying to say gay pride. Gay pride and that don't even go together. They should never even be the
well,
same.
they're trying to stop people. They're trying to stop people from producing. Not only are they trying to stop people from producing, they're trying to get you outside of your culture.
Absolutely.
Your culture doesn't agree with homosexuality because it's against nature's law.
And it's not a strike.
Is it not? But I digress.
Yes.
Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. These he must overcome. Ye overcome them every one. Thus hope will ever be his beacon light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading and victory is assured. So he's really telling you, man cannot die. So for everybody who thinks that they die, you don't die. You don't die. Get over it. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the seed will have opened, will have fully opened, will have unfolded in the holy breath. The garb of soul, will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore. And it will pass and be no more, and man will then attain unto blessedness, or I say blessedness, because I ain't less, be less, of perfection and be one with Allah. So understand, you have to get linguistics together. You have to get your language together. You have to get your houses in order. How you gonna get your houses in order if you don't believe in astrology? There is a Moor, his name is his YouTube channel is Ra Speaks. It's called Ra Speaks, Ra Speaks. Ra is a part of his appellation, okay? And he talks about astrology. Right now we're going through a retrograde. We're going through Mercury retrograde. It's going to last how long? Who knows?
A week or so.
A week or so. October 2nd is the last day, so the 3rd is. So you're not supposed to be doing any contracts right now because you're not going to see everything. But if you don't tap back into your astrology, you're going to be making decisions, continue to making decisions while everybody in the world is making them in harmony with nature. We're just making them based on how we feel. Right? So the question is, New York, what y'all gonna do next? This is the first event. What y'all gonna do next? Don't look at me. What are we going to do? Because I already know Naftali and Shanice, because they hosted this event.
That's why we came to
Try to bring more people next time, you know?
Yeah, you got to bring people who are into nationality. Don't bring them different colors back to you.
Yeah, I know. Right.
We got to get them in the streets, man. Seriously. We got to create the community, the unity within Moors, to create the platform in every corporate state. So we're going to every corporate state to start talking about this. And then we're going to we're going to lap back around and see what happened. But in the meantime, in between time, you got moorstomores.com. You have,
is that M-O-O-R-S?
it's M-O-R-E, so it's more.
Oh, okay.
Two Moors. I know everybody they think it's more. Nope. It's M-O-R-E, the number 2, MOORS.com. So it's moretomores.com. It's a social networking platform for Moors by Moors. We got 400 people on it now. And I haven't been really promoting it really like that because, you know, once you start getting the Moors, they start asking me a bunch of questions. They think it's Ask Alexa, or like I'm like Alexa. Oh, YeSharon. And some of them call me Alexa. I'm like, that's not my appellation. You know, always trying to be nationalized. I need the Moorish.
I want to ask you a question.
What's the,
But
Can't let that
what do you
Albion
think about?
control all the conversations like that.
huh?
Can't let that Albion Alexa, you know,
Ah.
take over your spot.
Well, I charge my niece to make a emoji for me, and it's going to be called Ask YeSharon or whatever it had on the government website and on Moorish to Moorish, and then they'll ask that question, and then I'll probably have somebody else answering them. So I go. Because let me tell you, there is a dumb question, and I'm going to call you on a dumb question. It's about you getting comfortable being open and speaking, right?
I want to answer your question.
You always want to ask me a question, Terranova.
Yeah, I know. I'm curious. What do you think about nationalizing with the Emperor Khufu?
I don't.
Do you think that?
Because I don't know how he's an emperor.
Oh, okay, so
Y'all got to qualify these people when they talk.
yeah, so okay. I mean,
Qualify him. Terranova and tell us who he is.
Yeah.
And where he derives his authority. Because he can be an emperor only if you say, oh, I want him to be an emperor. So now, as the people, you gave him a title. Well, what is he doing to earn that title? As it relates to whatever Moorish merchant, Moorish government, Moorish LLC, Moorish incorporated, what is he? You got to tell me that because I'm busy with this government doing this.
right. Well, his basic proprio, his motu proprio.
What's a motu proprio?
Well, that's the speech he gave,
Okay.
and put it on YouTube. And it's like the message, like the Pope has motu proprio. It's like a message. And he basically says that the state cannot exist in more than one place. So he is establishing the state as a nation, and he has an apostille number 1,
So
apostille number 2, and he's got the recognition.
You got to do your research. And it's not my responsibility to do it for you. Because if you want to follow him, that's what you need to be doing.
I'm learning. I haven't nationalized with him, but I'm thinking about it.
Well, do it.
Yeah, because I already have nationalized here, but
What's here?
In this particular country, the Moorish consulate.
The Moorish consulate is an organization. You have to nationalize with a government. A government is an example of a state, a nation state. These are all terms that are used to identify the same thing.
Okay, so I call it the government. I already nationalized here in this government.
What's the name of the government?
The Moorish American Consulate.
That's not a government. That's a consulate.
Well,
The consulate derives its authority from a government.
right. So
Who authorized the consulate?
the Moorish federal government.
That's not a name. You don't even know.
What
You
else
don't
should I
even
call
know.
it?
That's crazy, right?
I call
You've
it.
done a whole lot of stuff, but you don't know what you've done.
Well, that's why I asked the question.
Well, you can ask the question. You got to study. That's what our rebate says. Study, study, study. You sleepyhead
Well,
boys.
I'm always asking questions. I guess.
You got to study. You got to know what you're talking about.
All right. So what is the name of this government?
I'm not telling you because you should know if you nationalize through it. Does anybody know what the name of the government is that they nationalize through? If you nationalize through the government I represent as a supreme judiciary, who's done that? And people who ought to know it better not say nothing. Whoever has an ID, because it does say it on it, maybe it doesn't. Nope, that's the name of the website.
I just gotta look at my ID.
That is the problem. You're doing things and you don't know what you're doing. Because you're supposed to know the name of your damn government. Do you see the deficit our people have?
That's a major one.
It is. Because you're saying you're a national belonging to a government, you don't even know the name of the government. And I suggest no one help her. Let her go to the government website and find out.
I thought it was Moorish American Federal Government. Moorish American Federal Government.
Don't give her the answer. Don't give her the answer.
It's National Republic Federal Government.
Now say the name again.
Moorish American National.
Nope, you're wrong. American's not in the name.
Okay. Moorish Republic Government.
You're supposed to help her because you're a brother. Go ahead, help her out.
It says Moorish National Republic.
Look, they got it on the website. You left some stuff out. Razine, you left some stuff out. Add the whole name.
Okay, so I know I left the Republic out.
So now what's the name?
Oh,
There you go, there you go. She
You
said
say
it.
that
She had to
loud?
look it up. She had to look it up too. I say it all the time so you can start qualifying people when they say things. Right? When they say, well, what government you belong to? And you say North American Council. They be like, I can't. I'll be honest, be like, I can't. Guilty, get out of here. That's because they ain't got to worry about you because you ain't gonna send no affidavit in. You ain't gonna do no lien. They know this already. Because they know who's doing it and who's not. Because they get you sending it to them, right? So they know if you did it or not because they would know because they got it. Why y'all scared to do liens? Why y'all scared to put y'all administrative processes to work? Why y'all scared to do them? Why you still at tier 1? Right? I'm telling y'all. In order for us to elevate as a nation, y'all got to elevate y'all consciousness and get the work done. Because how am I going to sit here when we finally get stipends and financial liquidity? How am I going to hire any of y'all? I've been trying. It's long. Trying to hire more. It's hard. Y'all think that y'all not going to have to bring none of your skills and talents to uplift your nation. Y'all think y'all going to get paid from a government that's in its infantry. It's just beginning. Right? So what did I say today? What are we going to do today? Because I said a lot. I don't feel like I said a lot. But you know, I could just start talking in the spirit.
We're going to organize, we're going to connect.
We're going to organize, we're going to connect. Everybody get in to create a group in Moorish to Moors for New York. So we can start doing things. Consistency. Because I'm going to be holding all y'all accountable. I'm going to get everybody appellations because everybody put their appellations on that paper. I'm going to be like, where you at, Mulan? Because you damn near killed me on the highway, Mulan. Is she transport? Because she can get you there in 2.5 seconds. She a traveler. She can whip that joint. I'm like, yo, I'm not even scared. And she's driving hella fast. And I was quite comfortable because she knew what she was doing. And I go off energy. Right? So if you give me nervous energy, I can feel it. I ain't saying nothing. Because Chucky like, bam, Chucky. She good. She could come and get me any day. I'm like, that's a long ride. I was like, damn, the train would have got me there and like, because they go whoop, 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 whoop. Ain't no traffic, but it was lovely seeing the scenic route. So I'm going to ask the question yet again. Who came here to nationalize today? Nobody? You did? You had 2? It's on what? How do you nationalize twice?
First time I
What's the question? I ain't trying to go down there.
First time I sent my location.
So who did you get the paperwork from the first time? Who did you get the paperwork from the second time? So it's the same, right? So you're asking, do you have to send it back again?
No, well, not
Did you change your appellation?
Yes.
Yes. But understand that you're just notifying them, but you got to do the administrative process as well in terms of everything else on the public side. Because in the public record, you look like a resident.
Islam.
And when I talk about the public record, I'm talking about the tiers. Are you familiar with the tiers on the grid? So I'm talking about tier 1, 2, and 3, which is the basic tiers, and then you got tier 4, which is any claims against your estate. Because overseeing, they've been able to just tap into. It's like we give them a credit card to our bank, and every time we do things, we give them a credit card to our bank account. They go into the bank, take out what they want, and you don't know nothing. They leave you with the bill. That's literally what's going on today. You don't know how to discharge things, and fiat is not currency. It's what they've given the slaves so they could feel good about their situation. I just want y'all to know that. On the back end, they're discharging it on your behest. They're not discharging it on your behest. They're getting their little fee, their cut. They ain't discharging it because only you can do that. They can't. So it just sits there as an unresolved claim against your estate on the books. So don't we think we need to come together, do these little tutorials, and get these grids done, and get this stuff done, because we have so much things coming, but y'all gotta get competent. Because I need staff. Worldwide. It's a lot of work.
Another time I was in Jersey, I had a traveler, he was like a few guy, and he needed help. More stuff from New York.
Oh, you talking about back in at my domicile? I remember that. Oh, New York is crazy. The original consuls that was part of that original Moorish American consulate. I don't know. I ain't got nothing to say about that.
Yeah, because he's gonna leave that brother alone.
I know who y'all talking about. Yes, leave him alone. I don't know what else to say. Because when you learn to do stuff, I think who's going to ultimately be the new consuls for this area most likely will be Nationality and Shanice, because they rocking it over here. I'm just trying to tell you in terms of just how they're able to organize their selves and get it together. And then we'll start pushing it that way, because we need a consul. Shanice and Natalie, you already know I'm looking at you for consuls, y'all too. I'm just gonna say it. She's competent on a level just to get the paperwork done, and she's gotten the paperwork done for what, 15 people total? Her whole clan. Can you imagine that? I would love it if just one of my clan would. They say you're an enemy in your own house, right?
Well, we got something established here too. Council. With the Mind Watch or Tasha's Moors. Right now, it's a few of us in here right now. We're doing a lot of helping people with business situations. A lot of, the fact that corporation thing that's going on that our people need to come out of. That's what we'll be dealing with as far as the council here. Because 30, East 40, 42nd Street.
So do y'all have classes?
Yes, we have classes every Sunday, every Tuesday, and every Wednesday at the library.
Okay, which library?
Library in Queens and one in Manhattan.
That's definitely something that y'all wanna link up with me, and let's see how we can make this a community event where all Moors can kind of feel comfortable, and I'll come down and help support y'all to see how we can make sure everything is being done the way it ought to be done. I don't have a problem coming back down here and assisting Moors everywhere. I gotta do it. Ain't nothing I can do to alleviate that, because we gotta support each other. Because what's coming down, once they start, because the Albions are fighting with each other right now. They're fighting with each other. You got business card? You gonna write it down? And this is yours. Islam Moors, we're gonna get off this social platform because we got some nationalities to do. Islam, yes, I need to get back hitting the tears. Absolutely, should have never left the tears. Peace and love. Share this video out. I'll post it on Moors to Moors platform, as well as the events page of the government website. Peace and love to the virtual world.